Well, I think Phil Oakes is in my soul somewhere, so it's all right, Chris. Oh, good, I can get away from this folk singers that used to sing in the podiums. There we go. That's a good place to start about Phil. Was we were at ROTC, Ohio State University. I was an Army cadet, freshman. He was junior Air Force, a sergeant. He knew a lot about Castro and stuff, but he was pumping me for information. He liked all my stories about George Bush. And George Bush, he knew me as a kid because he wanted me to spy on my dad. My dad was a lieutenant for Gus Hall. He used to hide out in my bedroom upstairs, attic bedroom, when the FBI was after him. And so Phil Oakes was working for national security. Even when we were in college, he was telling me about that I was fair game. But we had this love-hate relationship. He told me his secrets after college. Phil Oakes came to me, and when we were living in Gene and Ray, we were married. We weren't married then. We were just kind of living in sin as a duet, June and Gene. And Phil came over and said, "There's a plot to kill President Kennedy." He wanted to know if I knew anything about it. I said, "No, what's going on?" He said, "Well, I'm working this national security group, sort of like the CIA. Probably has something to do with the Air Force, but I don't know. That's my guess, because he's very proud of the Air Force." And so I said, "No, I won't." So he said, "Let me know if you know anything." "Sure, I will. So he said, "I'm going over to Fair Play for Cuba, see what more I can find out." And he knew, was it VT Lee? He was head of Fair Play for Cuba. I called up VT Lee many years later. Said, Phil Oakes? "Oh yeah, he was working with us." So that's the truth. Oswald wasn't, right? He wasn't really working for Fair Play for Cuba. That was his kind of split personality thing. Phil had a split personality too. And when you get into the spy business, you got to have a split personality. If you don't have it, naturally they'll give it to you. So anyway, on the Hollywood Hootenanny tour was how they got me involved, because they knew that I was helping Phil with the assassination investigation. And so the Hollywood Hootenanny tour managers wanted me to be on this tour, and Phil said, "Don't go, man." And so, because they're going to kill Kennedy in the South, and the tour was from LA all through the South. We went through Dallas about a couple of weeks before the assassination, and some 3 guys got off telling me to call my dad, because my dad's related to Thomas Jefferson. I was telling him, "What are you doing here?" I didn't want to tell him what I was doing, because I was spying on the plot, and the managers wanted me on there because they said, I said, "Well, I'm working on a plot to find out what it is." And said, "That's why I want you to go." They said, don't write anything down, don't interfere, because it's dangerous." So, okay. And before we even took the tour, they needed a publicity picture for Gene and I. So they flew us on a twin-engine plane from LA to Mobile, Alabama. Gene got off and we went back to New York, but they flew me back home, back to LA. And just the pilot and me was on the plane. I was sitting there back, and it was a noisy plane. Everything got back to the airport, and our friend Ray Parker said, he was picking me up at the airport. He said, "Jim, you know that's a CIA plane?" see, it says Tiger Airlines on the side of the plane. So the CIA were setting me up, but people would think I was in the CIA. I probably was an asset for them, even since I was a kid. So the first person I told about this plot, so on the tour, right after they knew that they separated me from the rest of the musicians several times, separated me from my wife, we were married at that time. And they picked me after they told me that Kennedy was dead, these two agents, they were looking at me like for a reaction. I didn't give any reaction at all. I just wanted to get through this thing alive, you know. And I didn't know who they were. So then I go to get back on the Hootenanny bus, and the guys at the door barring me from getting back on the bus. And then these kids were surrounding me, these teenagers. This had been about 5, 6 of them, pushing up against me. I couldn't move, and this taller guy had my arm twisted behind my back. Said, "Be quiet, Jim, be quiet." And the bus was pulling away. I said, "Remember this?" And so then I thought, oh man, I'm dead now, they're gonna kill me. And then another extra bus pulls up. They had many buses, Hootenanny buses. This thing's a little bit loud, I think. Feedback. But anyway, so they put me on this bus, picked up, we were near Houston. And the bus traveled, and then there were these kind of looked like Latino soldiers, could have been Mexicans, I don't know, just little guys. And they took over the bus at one point. They got rid of the uniformed trailways driver. He's off the bus, and this one guy took over the driving. It was like they hijacked this bus that they forced me onto. What was this bus doing? Well, it was on the way to the airport in Houston. And we stopped, and they told us to give me orders. Nobody pull down the blinds, don't look out the windows. I was following orders, I figured, oh, I'm dead, and went to see how far this goes. So, this guy in the back, I call him my angels. There's always somebody that's kind of helping me, unknown people. And he goes, "We're at an airport." You know, then people started clambering around with luggage compartments and stuff, and strangers started getting on, men with suits. There was Dallas cops. This is the Houston airport. Dallas cops with the guy who looked like Oswald, was a little bit taller with a crew cut. He reminded me of a friend I knew, such he had the weak chin and just the face kind of looked like he was tears in his eyes. I could tell he knew he was dead. I don't know who he was. I didn't know anything about Oswald at the time. Didn't know nothing about just what was going on in Dallas. I didn't even know Phil was in Dallas at that time. And so then this guy who's dressed freaky in the Fed dress, I think he had a green suit or a brown suit, and he had this ill-fitting wig, didn't fit him, kind of a red wig, and he had these pasted on furry eyebrows, and so you guess who I figured it was. But he also had freckles all over his face, kind of like Freddie Neal had a lot of freckles on the back of his neck. Well, it turns out it wasn't David Ferry. It was a David Ferry imposter who knew that I knew Bush, so I knew the whole story. And so he says, "How's the trip, Jim?" "Okay." So then he goes, and these guys are getting on the bus, more people on the bus from the airport airstrip. He goes, "Do you know that guy getting on the bus right now?" I'm looking in front of the bus. So after we stopped at a pit stop, real quick, I got off. I don't remember seeing any newspapers. It probably didn't even hit the papers by then. It was late afternoon. And got back on the bus. And she's a blonde lady over here, dressed real nice. There's more about that probably in my book, Born to Spy. Born to Spy for everybody. and there's George Bush sitting by the window, and Hoover leaning up against him, J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI. I'm the only person that knows where the hell he was that day. Hoover never told anybody. Look it up. He's the big hero, right? Where was he? Where was Bush? Nobody knows where Bush was, but Barbara? She helped me in this investigation. I'll tell you more about that later. So I go back and sit down behind the David Ferrie imposter. I didn't know who he was. I never heard of David Ferrie at that time. Didn't know, he was this freaky guy there. And I see there's still this blonde lady up. I see this blonde hair up in front of the bus. Anyway, we drive on, you know, and people were getting off. I think Bush got off near his house. The airport was only about 20 minutes from his house, according to his address that he gave to the FBI. When Bush called the FBI right after the Kennedy assassination, called me, he said, well, there's this guy, James Perry, who's working for our Republican Party, and there were rumors that he was supposed to kill Kennedy yesterday in Houston. Yesterday. So he wanted this to be a confidential call to the FBI. Well, he was head of the Republican Party just then, so he told the guy at the FBI, well, call this person, Republican Party, they know more about it, probably. And so he said, well, I'm heading back to Dallas, because he had a hotel room in Dallas, but he made the call from Tyler, Texas. That's where he was giving a speech. And it was an anti-Kennedy speech. You're soft on communism, you know, you're afraid of Castro and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I learned, you know, way later. So, but I thought that I'd be a dead man too, because they had this guy. Oswald. It wasn't Oswald, it was like a guy that looked like Oswald. And so that night, we were at we spent the night in a motel called the Pines Motel. And it was in the Sam Houston National Forest. You walk up a hill and there's this clubhouse at the bar. To the left was a National Guard armory, great place to get weapons, right? And Gene and the other musicians were staying in a motel right on the other side of that. And so that night, so I'm walking up, it's dark already, and I'm walking up to the clubhouse, and my watcher, he's also an angel, helped me in this tumbleweed town. He was watching me the whole time. And we walk into the bar, and they're all celebrating at the bar. And Tom says to me, didn't they just shoot Kennedy? What's going on here? You know, oh yeah. So I said, I'm going to call my dad because I figure I'm dead, you know, that night. So I call my dad, Cleveland. He remembers this call. He remembered my dad died about 20 years ago. But I said, Dad, you hear about the assassination? Oh yeah. He said, where are you? Turned around, these guys, you know, real happy at the bar and having stables, a couple of tables. Where are we? We're in Dallas. I didn't know where the hell I was. So I told my dad, I'm in Dallas. My dad always remembered that. So they needed to set me up. My dad was, yeah, Jim was in Dallas. He told me from Dallas. So that night, they kept celebrating, hooping and hollering. They put me in this little shacky room, you know, with no radio, no TV, no telephone, nothing. And one of the managers of the tour came in and said, Jim, don't go outside. There's a guy with a shotgun looking for the guy who shot Kennedy, President Kennedy. So I ain't going out there. I just want to stay alive. So that night it was getting late, and I heard a couple shotgun blasts. So I just took care of that guy. I took care of the guy who was the Kennedy, the Oswald lookalike. Then everything got quiet. So then the tour resumed. So what, the first person I talked to, the big person, as soon as the tour was over, I was blah, 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 talking about what I saw. And before I even knew Phil was there. I was talking to California about it. And the first person I talked to, I did not realize that he was a friend of Robert Kennedy. It was Andy Williams. Because we were leaving the Andy Williams show, we were in the Good Time Singers, we were just leaving to go off on our own as Jim and Gene. So we thought the Andy Williams show was kind of confining, you know, but it was a good group of people. And I was telling the group of people at our apartment on Grace Avenue about what had happened. So probably Andy must have learned from them. And there were a couple of people in that group who were also on the tour with different buses. And so as I was leaving the studio in the parking lot, and he comes over, he said, Jim, I want to talk to you. And he said, I heard that you saw some things in Texas. And I said, yeah. He said, it was a government operation. You know, because I saw Bush and Hoop, to me that means a government operation, duh. He just didn't say anything, just turned around and walked away, so I guess he had heard enough. I didn't realize that he was, found out many years ago, he was a friend of RFK and was the pallbearer at RFK's funeral, Andy Williams. Good guy, great singer. So, here's a song I wrote when I think it was about beginning of 1964. Phil comes over and he says, where were you? I told him about the trip and everything. I said, where were you, Phil? And he goes, I was in Dallas. I said, how can you prove that? He said, well, they filmed me. I was filmed. I was right in front of the garage doorway of the Caltex building. And I found the pictures, or later during the, when I had a computer after 2000, year 2000, I got a computer. But he didn't have a copy of the pictures, nobody really did. Those photos didn't come out, I don't think, until the late 80s. So I wrote this song about Phil. It's called Psychic Cowboy. Where are we going? What will we see? What can we do to change our destiny? Tell us the answers. You never have been wrong. Sing us another psychic cowboy song. Came out of Ohio with music on his lips. Grand Ole Opry, ain't never heard nothing like this. He sang about tomorrow like he'd been there yesterday. Singing songwriter, Phil Oakes was his name. Where are we going? What will we see? What can we do to change our destiny? Tell us the answers, Phil. You never have been wrong. Sing us another psychic cowboy song. Phil went to Dallas, he responded with a song. That was the president, crucifixion came along. Sang the war is over, outside a small circle of friends. His voice was ringing loud and clear, like it would never end. Then he told about his travels over in Dar es Salaam. 3 men strangled and robbed him in the early dawn. Their hands could reach his pockets, so he only took his knife. Strange time that puzzled Phil the rest of his life. Where are we going? be. Tell us the answers, you'd never have been wrong. Sing us another psychic cowboy song. Come on, sing us another psychic cowboy song. Well, I remember this was back in the early 80s. I just met a guy tonight, Gary from Schoharie. Is Gary here? There he is back there. Hey, Gary. Good friend of Sonny Oaks. And this was, Sonny and I had a thing going, you know. And so she invited me up to her cabin, and it was during a drought, the biggest drought that they had in New York. It lasted months and months and months, ready to dry up. And Sonny had Phil's FBI files, I think she got from Sis Cunningham, Sis and Gordon, and there's about 300 or so pages. She lays it on. She said, "What's this all about, Jim?" So I'm reading his files, I'm going through, and I knew that Phil was working for National Security at that point, but Phil had been dead in '76, so he'd been dead about 6-7 years by then. And so I see in his files his FBI is looking for him in the October-November period. They're looking for Phil. And so I told her the story. I said, Phil was in Dallas, and that's what it was all about. She didn't know whether to believe me or not. I talked to her mother later, a few years later, Gertrude. I told her that, and she wasn't surprised a bit, because she knew. Because Phil told me before I went to Dallas, his mom said, "Get a haircut." So you see the pictures of Phil in Dallas. He's got his freshly cut hair. Not as, you know, he's had longer hair when he was playing the Newport Folk Festival that summer. And so his mom, Gertrude, she wasn't concerned about it. She knew the truth. She was worried about me. What's going to happen to me? She was a nice lady, so, you know. I think I had a song about this. Files. There's some. And, so I was talking about Sonny Oaks. She's still helping me. She's great, great friend. And so she left after I told her, you know, what these FBI files are talking about. Half of it's blacked out, you understand, so I'm trying to, you know, be psychic here. You know. All of you read anybody's FBI files, half of it's always blacked out. You know, so I wasn't going to play this song tonight, but since I met Gary from Schoharie, I wrote a song about that. So right after Sonny leaves, it starts raining. The drought was over. So this song just came to me like, reason. They say you need someone to tell you everything's gonna be alright. Someone to hold you all the lonely nights. But the rain that's falling down to me feels real good. It cools the air and heat my cares just like I knew it would. Oh, rain, 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 soak the ground and wash the street, drown the sorrows in your beat. Oh, rain, rain, I hear your sound, it soothes my brain, and the sunshine means nothing without rain. goes like in times of the past. It's all been said and it's all been done, and now the die is cast. And the problems that we live with are very much the same. But I don't need no one telling or selling when I'm listening to the rain. So when I really got involved in exposing Bush, was in 90. Anyway, my father was starting to finally believe my story, because when these memos, somebody in the FBI was helping me as they released these memos about George Bush and the Kennedy assassination. There were two important memos. One was about well, I told you about that one. He called the FBI right after the assassination, and then the other one was the next day. Hoover, after he was appointed, he told LBJ that night that I had no jurisdiction on this case. You know, he said there is no law against assassinating a president, no federal law against assassinating a president. When I first heard this from the witness, I couldn't believe it, but it was only until about a year ago I read his testimony to the Warren Commission. You all should read Hoover's testimony to the Warren Commission. You know, he doesn't say anything about what happened that day. The history starts when LBJ calls him that night. So he tells LBJ, "Well, I have no jurisdiction over this." You know, LBJ says, "Good, that's why you're in charge of this investigation." So that was the night. The night of the assassination, he was put in charge of everything. He's the boss now, the FBI. He's still the boss as far as the rules go of the FBI. So that's why I'm challenging the FBI. So I reported to the FBI in '91 because I was writing against George Bush. Thank you. I was running against George Bush, and as an independent, no-win candidate, dark horse candidate in Brandon, Florida, which I'm still living now. And so I went to the FBI, and first I called the Texas Rangers, I called the International Police, I was calling everybody, but I was afraid to talk to the FBI because I knew that Hoover had dirty hands in this, So finally, the U.S. Marshals, I called them and said, "You gotta talk to the FBI, Jim, you gotta talk to them." So they had already known my story, the FBI, by the time I started talking to them, because I had spread it all around, So I reported this to the FBI, and I was waiting for that was in '91. So I was waiting all these years for my report to come out, but it didn't come out. So last May I called the FBI again. And they're very nice, by the way. If anybody has any evidence, give it to the FBI. They're not going to do anything to you. They're nice people now. They know that Hoover's story is bullshit. They know the cover is bullshit. They know that. But they're not allowed to say anything because the FBI is not allowed to make any conclusions. What they do is they take the information, they won't tell you anything. They're not allowed to. So I'm talking just last May. They said, "Well, we'll connect you to the national headquarters." And another lady says, "Oh, so you have new evidence?" I told her my new evidence, which is about Barbara Bush. She had her hair done while George was giving a speech at the town of Texas. She had her hair dyed what? Marilyn Monroe style.
Platinum blonde.
And I was always trying to find pictures of Barbara Bush. And did I go over the limit here? Okay. And I never could find, she always had brown hair, what, you know, all I liked. But then there's one picture I found, photo on, what is it, Pinterest? And they had this picture from Barbara Bush's library where she's got her hair, it's exactly the way she was that day on the assassination, and she's standing next to little Dorothy. Dorothy's about 5 years old here. But the picture's captioned, oh, this was Barbara Bush at Easter in 1961. Well, Dorothy was born in 59, so only 2 years old. So I corrected them. I said, no, wait a minute. Dorothy was at least 4 or 5 years old here. You can tell it was, you know, she's standing next to Barbara. And so they allowed me to correct that. So that picture is there, and you can see she had dark roots already. So it was already grown out from a couple of months before, from November. Now this is Easter, right? 3 or 4 months. So then the next picture of Barbara Bush, she's with George, and George is running for president again. They have the same kind of Easter basket. He's running for senator, okay? Not president. And then she had darker hair. She changed her hair back darker then. She's leaning over George. So that was in June. So from Easter to June, then she changed her hairstyle. Why did she change her hairstyle? Well, because that bus that she was on, she probably was puzzled. Why is Hoover and all these strange people on this bus picking us up at the airport? She probably thought that was really strange. And she was the only one that told the truth about the story. And she could have destroyed that picture. That proved she was a blonde when I saw her. It proved to me. I mean, it doesn't prove to you, but to me that's evidence. All right. So anyway, Barbara helped me out. I like her very much. And I'm going to finish up with a song. Okay, time to finish up, wrap it up.
Do truth.
Truth, yeah. I was going to do the good old voting machine, but have they counted the votes yet? Here's the song for you. I started this song in '93 when I was at my first JFK conference, and we were given a performance at the Texas Theater, and Butch Burroughs, the usher, was going. I said, Butch, did you see this guy who was a look-alike? They took him out the back door, you know, after they took Oswald out the front. He goes, oh yeah, he looked just like Oswald. And he showed me the door where they took him out, Butch Burroughs. So we did a concert that night at the. I tried to get people from it wasn't this conference, but some other to come down to Texas Theater. A few people came, and I talked a little bit about what I'm telling you here tonight, and then Butch Burroughs talked about taking the double Oswald out of the back door. And it's a big story. There were witnesses to that too, so there we go. Truth is the truth. There ain't nothing they can do. The truth is the truth. There ain't nothing they can do. Repeat the same old lies, just like any other fool. Well, shooters now I know. Now I know there were a few. long enough to wait. 55 years, too long to wait. Well, the world knows we're right. The official story's fake. Yeah, the truth is the truth. There ain't nothing. Yeah, truth is the truth. Nothing they can do. But repeat the same old lies. Who believes but the fool? I wrote this song, you know I wrote this song, nobody else wrote this song. Well, you can vote for me for you. You vote for less war. You vote for more jobs and a chance for the poor. You vote for fair trade, much higher pay. You vote for more truth, happier days. But if you don't vote for yourself, then who the hell will? And if you're wondering, who am I to tell? I'm the old voting machine. And they blamed it all on me, like you saw on your TV. Well, they blamed it all. I told you. On me. Well, I elected them all. Threw a lot out. But I could always get a recount if there was any doubt. I didn't need software from them wanting the leaders they bought. I was manually operated, and what you punched was what you got. I'm an old voting machine, and they blamed it all on me, like you saw on your TV. I'm the old voting machine. Yeah, so just empty out my chat box, and without any doubt, I'll keep voting, even when the power goes out. And the power will go out. So here I sit in this old warehouse, since I've been thrown away. Still hoping for the best to come on your next election day. So just never give up, like they gave up on me. This is going to take a lot more votes to save democracy. I'm the old voting machine. And if freedom needs to win, you might need me again. You might need